Hello, everyone, and welcome to Off-Road Frank Ferraro. Today, Andrea Cataneo is here with us. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you so much. Always such a pleasure to be here. And I'm so excited. We've got the one and only Seth Farbman.
I know. Welcome,
Thank you for
Seth.
it's like a big reunion today. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you on.
It's really our pleasure. It's about time.
Absolutely, absolutely. For those of you, Seth really doesn't need too much of an introduction in the capital markets now. Okay, this guy's done just about everything out there. I remember 20 years ago, I was one of your clients when you had
Filings, yeah,
vintage
yeah.
filings, all
Back
the
a long
filings
time.
with Corporate Roadshow and
Oh my
stuff like
God, what a
that.
wonderful story that is. And do you remember when we met? I think you may have interviewed at a law firm where I was the first woman lawyer and partner. That was many months out. That had
I
to be
did. And I didn't
2001
and
or
I didn't get
two.
the job. Not your fault, but I did not get the job. But
But thank
everything was
God
meant to be.
it was meant to be. It was best shared because
But sure, that's right. Listen
look
to
at all
you.
that's happened. Come on,
Listen to you,
I'm more
Andrea.
than a quarter Jew, honey. My mother's mother is married a
That's good.
Sicilian, Russian
You
Jew
got the
married a Sicilian.
lingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, go on. It's one of my favorite words.
The cool thing is, I know, and if people don't know, both Andrea and Seth are on the board of NIBA, the National Investment Bankers Association, and we are having a big event
March
in
11th and
Yeah,
12th.
in March 11th and 12th, and both of you will be there. And Seth, you're a service provider, you do transfer services. Maybe you could tell the audience a little bit about what that is and how it works in the capital markets.
Sure. No, and I think that first of all, I'm a big fan of the podcast. I think you guys have a certain dynamic that plays really well for the capital market. So again, thank you for having me. Right now, in terms of the stock transfer business, V stock, we're the lowest guys on the totem pole when it comes to IPOs and publicly traded companies, but I think it's super important. So we manage the cap table. We're in charge of the shares and that interaction between the issuer that's either going public or public and the shareholders or the investors. And while from a fee standpoint, we're a couple $100 as opposed to some of the bankers or lawyers that are making big money, but we feel like we are that gatekeeper. And I look at it as if we have two clients. We have the company that's a client, but we have each and every shareholder that put their hard-earned money into this company. So we are there to be responsive and to service whatever it is that they may need.
Can I just say, you're such a modest guy. You're not the lowest person on the totem pole in that category at all, at all. You're like the glue. And that's really what you described.
I
You're the
appreciate it.
glue that keeps, and it's this objectiveness that you have to maintain because you're there for the shareholders, making them comfortable. And I know this from experience. I know this as a shareholder in client companies over the years where you have, and your outstanding team have really made me feel comfortable and informed and responsive, and for the companies too. And anyway, and that's not even all this guy does. This guy, yeah, 4 exits. He's not even going to mention it, but lots of other things and value that he brings. And as Frank mentioned, he serves on the board of NIBA, National Investment Banking Association, and is such a spark of positive energy every time he gets up on stage. And I'm so excited about this upcoming event, Seth.
Thank
And
you.
what are you hoping for? Because you always bring great ideas and
Well,
people and energy.
you bring your energy is off the charts, and I think everybody feeds off of that. I think you would agree with this. And Frank, I'm super excited that you're actually going to be attending. We get to say hello in person again. But I think anybody that's in the small cap industry knows that there are a lot of conferences throughout the year. We probably sponsor between VStock and Share Media, we probably sponsor 10 to 12 events every year, if not more. What I think is most spectacular about NIBA is that if you go to a certain conference, I won't name names, but they have 5,000 attendees and 350 issuers. If you are not writing a check to invest in this deal, the CEOs don't want to talk to you. They're like, oh, you're not a fund, you're not an institution, I don't have time for you. The beauty of NIBA is that everybody is there to network. Everybody is there to learn, and everybody is there to make and cultivate relationships. So it may be 300, 400 people, and it may be 30 to 50 issuers, but everybody is there to just grow their relationships. And so much value comes out of that because they meet attorneys, they meet podcasters, they meet funds, they meet everything. And the environment is just there to grow, which I think is super, super unique and rare in the conference circuit.
You know, funny you say that because I remember I went to one of them and Jim Hop, the chairman, was talking and he said, everybody's here for one reason, and that's the network. If you don't leave this conference exhausted after 3 days, you didn't do the right thing by yourself.
You're right. I told Jim I'm going to buy him a T-shirt that says "Go home tired."
I
That's his
actually
line.
I saw the mock-up of it. I
Oh
said,
yeah, right.
maybe Lisa sent it to
I
me or
used
someone, Emily
ChatGPT.
did. I love
I
it.
used ChatGPT just for fun. We made a T-shirt, "Go home tired," because that's really the motto. Is everybody is there to everybody gets different things out of the conference. Some people are there for visibility. Some people are there for capital. Others are there for just exposure of their stock. Others are there to learn how do I go public and who are the bankers and who are the lawyers. So everybody comes out of there with something unique to what they went there for.
Yeah.
I'm really so glad you mentioned that because it's not like a 5-day commitment or event, and nor is it 3 days anymore. It's really a day and a half, but that first afternoon on the 11th is where so much learning and relationship building can take place. And I know you and I love being there during that time because we're either on stage for one of there may be a panel discussion, there may be a speaker, there may be someone introducing how to get the most out of the conference for the companies that are there, but there's also an opportunity for people to get to know each other. And those of us on the board are connectors. We're out making people feel comfortable, connecting with as many as they can. And then that whole next day, that is a full exhausting day, but it's all, you nailed it. It's all about building those relationships or starting them. Relationships need to start somewhere, and it's a memorable event because it's intimate. Face it,
It is.
350 people sounds like a lot, but you go to an event with 1,000 or 5,000, you're just lost in the shuffle. Whereas here, you're going to meet people and see them several times. You may have 5 conversations with them from beginning to end in that day and a half. Wouldn't you say that's your
I think,
experience?
yeah, no, I think you hit it. Listen, first and foremost, let's also point out that you and I both like to be there at this time because it's in Fort Lauderdale and it's freaking 8 degrees here in New York where we are, or
It's a
Jersey.
positively
And
balmy 35 today.
I don't need much of an excuse to get out of New York and get to a conference in Fort Lauderdale. But to your point, I think that many of us that are CEOs of OTC, NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, you go to these conferences and each one of them is unique. Each one of them is amazing, which is why we sponsor them. But very often you will see a lot of different breakout rooms and you'll have a CEO that is giving a presentation, and you have to understand the mindset, right? I think we'll all agree. He spent money, he took time out, he flew there most often, and then he gets up there and he tells his story passionately to 6 people in the breakout room, 4 of which are trying to pitch him something, if we're being honest, right? What's different about NIBA is the layout of the hotel is that it's one grand ballroom. And so each CEO is presenting to 100+ people at a time. There is no tiny breakout room. So I think that's something also that is super unique and that people could look forward to.
Absolutely. And it's 100, 200, sometimes 350, sometimes the entire room is in there. And one of the companies that is going to be presenting, and I'll mention his name once we get all the things finalized today. We were at a recent conference and he was presenting to 3 people in a small room. And Emily and I was speaking with him for a while, and Emily joined. And you're right, it's heartbreaking that these men and women who prepare so much to captivate an audience, they really don't have many. And he sat alone for a lot of the time at his table. Whereas I know with our one-on-one scheduling, and we encourage people to schedule their one-on-ones even in advance of the conference, which they can do on the board. We're, especially Seth and I, we're so active getting these dance cards filled. We've got an active board that is making the experience for companies good. And guess what? The service providers are also, you brought this up before, Seth. I'm so glad that you did. They're encouraged to sit down with the companies. It's not just the check writers. And in fact, here's something we do that I don't think anyone else does. If there's no room left on that schedule for a one-on-one, and there's an investment banker and you're another investment banker or a broker, you're encouraged to sit down and have a conversation. When
Right.
ordinarily you think, oh my God, they're competing with each other. Why would they want to do that? We invite a collegial experience. And it happens because we invite it. So you have people that are sitting together talking about syndication that wouldn't
Yeah.
otherwise talk about that. Or you might want to sit down with me talking about legal stuff or podcasting things, but we're listening at the same time. So we're getting a lot of engagement and a lot of interaction from this issuer who feels special. They're not sitting there all by themselves.
Yeah,
So
no,
anyway,
it's
Frank,
very
doesn't it sound like
non-territorial.
fun? Aren't you glad you're coming again after all these years?
I can't wait. Are you kidding me? No, I'm serious. I can't wait. I'm really excited. We've been working with a lot of companies, and I'm working with a bunch of them now, trying to get them to come to the show. This podcast is really good because it's going to give them a reason to come to us. It's a lot different than now. Obviously, corporate roadshow has set up roadshows all over the country, and it's a lot different going to an event than just a small roadshow in a city. And here, the cool thing is that everybody can network, and you don't have to be making appointments and making calendar things and everything like that. You can just all meet, eye contact. Hey, let's talk. Hey, let's meet here and do a deal.
Yeah,
It's one thing I really like
it's
about
very
it.
not territorial, as Andrea says. And I think that with the podcast, the invent of the podcast, which has exploded over the last 5+ years, I think that leveraging that exposure when you have these CEOs as guests on the podcast where they can tell their story, and then like you were saying, just like a lead up to the event, and then even documenting their journey through the event, and do they raise money? Do they get visibility? What's the outcome? I think that so many of these CEOs are going to be grateful if they have the opportunity to work with you on the podcast, but also just posting on LinkedIn. That's how I came to you again, right?
Yeah,
We've been out
absolutely.
of touch. I saw you posted on LinkedIn, and here we are.
And Seth is a
LinkedIn
master at that, FYI, and
No, I
Share
know.
Media. Sorry for the shameless plug on your behalf, but love
Hey,
Share Media. And
Yeah.
people, I think sometimes companies and individuals and professionals don't realize what a resource LinkedIn is. Back over to you, Seth.
yeah, no, I would, some free advice. It's so simple. I feel silly saying it, but at the same time, when we're at these events, and let's say there's 100 CEOs in the room, I'll sometimes get up there and ask them, I'm like, by show of hands, how many of you posted in advance that you will be attending this event? Maybe 15% raise their hands. And then how many of you, when we leave here, are going to post a picture of you with a colleague, with a professional, just something that shows your investors you were out there, you were hustling, you were meeting, you're not sitting behind the desk.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's probably like 15% will post. And so it's a missed opportunity. And anybody that is going to be on a podcast, post about it on LinkedIn. If you're going to be attending this event or any event, post about it on LinkedIn. It goes a long way.
Let me ask you, you do a lot with LinkedIn. I know that you have a lot of followers, and I think you have Share Media. Doesn't that help people with
We have Share
LinkedIn?
Media. I have a bunch of followers, but it's really about empowering each CEO to do it, for us to do it with them or for them, because I get it. They're running a market cap company of $200, $300 million, or even $50 million. They don't have time to be spending it on graphics and connections and hashtags. So we have a team that through Share Media, we do it for them. And it's basically the content and the graphics, but also it's connecting them to the right audience. You may be a med tech company and you wake up every day and say, oh, I wish I could get in front of 100 neurosurgeons today. LinkedIn is the way to do it. You may be a podcaster on off-road and say, how do I get in front of 100 CEOs today? It can be whatever you want it to be. And that's what we
Well,
try
I get
to
in front of 100 CEOs. I have to go to NIBA. That's
There you go.
100%. 100%. We're so looking forward to just the future, but certainly next month. And if anyone wants to reach out to you, Seth, what's the best way? Obviously, LinkedIn, you're always there, but is there a preferred way for
Just
someone
email
to
me.
connect
Yeah,
with you?
email me, Seth@vstocktransfer.com. I'm super responsive
You are.
to a fault, but listen, it's about communication and being responsive. Each and every one of us, at the end of the day, we're in a service business of
Yeah.
sorts. And just being available and responsive and be able to communicate, that's half the game sometimes.
Yeah, you're not
Hey,
kidding.
I look forward to seeing you on the 12th, no doubt.
I'll see you in the sun. Let's
All
do it.
right, sounds good.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
Oh, you're
Take
welcome.
care.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Take
Bye,
care.
guys.
Bye-bye.